Hello and welcome. This is the first news flash for AQR's Eyes Wide Open event on the 7th of June. And we'd like to invite you to come along. And in this respect, I'd like to introduce Judy Taylor, who's spearheading the event, and Simon Shaw, who's one of the speakers. So I don't think we can just wave at you. Judy, all I want to ask, or what I'd like to kick off by asking, is what makes this so special and what was the thinking behind the event?
Okay, thanks, Luella. Well, we've been working in my company with a fashion brand, and we've been talking to anthropologists and cultural analysts as part of the project. And it occurred to me that as a qualitative researcher, we can be quite narrow cast in the way that we learn and think. And some of this bigger picture understanding of, our cultural context, and when we evaluate consumer behavior, thinking about not just what they're saying to us or not saying to us, but the way that they look and present themselves. And I found this project really refreshing in stretching my understanding, I suppose, of why we're dressing the way we do. And I mean dressing in the broadest sense, the influence on how we want to or need to present ourselves, and also our desire as a population to be members of tribes, and how we signal that relationship with tribes by the way that we dress. And this led us to understand quite a lot about some of the emergent shifts that we could spot in society simply by starting to decode human packaging, if you like. And that's what made me think we ought to put this event on.
So can you tell us who we'll be hearing from?
Well, yes, very exciting. We've got two really great external speakers. The first one is a guy called Daniel Meadows, and he was a pioneer of what we might call participatory media. He's a photojournalist, and he set up something called Photobus back in the 70s to photograph people on the Moss Side estate. You can go and Google him and find out lots about him. Fascinating guy. And he's worked with film directors like the late, great Ken Russell. He's advised the BBC. He's worked with Burberry. He's a really interesting and fantastic speaker. And then, of course, we have Karen Franklin. Probably most people will know her from the Clothes Show. But she's also edited She's worked on an extraordinary raft of projects, from working with groups like refugees in battle zones to workers in free trade zone slums, mental health experts. She's even advised the government. So there's lots more that you can learn about her if you look her up. And I think she'll be really great. And then we've got some really wonderful industry voices as well. And actually there's one sitting here who can tell you a little bit about what he and a colleague of his going to be talking about as well. Simon.
Great, thanks Judy. So Simon Shaw here from Trinity for Queen. So I'm speaking alongside Nikki Lavoie from MindSpark International about how men and women express their masculinity and femininity through their clothes. So I'm focusing on the male angle. I'm taking the tack that jobs which have traditionally given men masculine status have really diminished steadily over the past 50 years. And we live really now in a service economy, so more by our thoughts and our words than our deeds. The masculinity gap, I'm arguing, has lots of consequences for social norms, and it's about how men feel, behave, they wear. So certainly my argument will be around how men use clothes consciously and unconsciously to express their masculinity. As well as this, Nikki's taking on the sort of the female angle. So she's taking a line that the 70s saw a real influx of women entering the workplace into traditionally white-collar jobs, exploring the tension there that femininity is both an asset and traits which are assumed to be feminine, like empathy or sensitivity or gentleness, are really seen to organisations better or perform better. On the flip side, female leaders are often attacked or criticised for feminine traits, or if they then abandon them, like Clinton or Merkel, they're criticised for that too. So big set of tensions there. That's before we get on to all the kind of complexity of the past 5 years about gender and gender issues, and how there are 71 genders on Facebook now, if you look at the options now as opposed to 2. So hopefully quite an interesting 20 minutes or so.
Fantastic. And then we're going to close with Nick Gadsby, who's a commercial semiotician and has been a lecturer. He also has a business called The Answer, and he's going to help us by summing up everything that we've heard and also running a really exciting Q&A at the end of the session. So all in all, we think it'll be a very interesting and exciting evening for the AQR.
So if you haven't got your ticket, please go to AQR's website or get in touch with Rose and book now. We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you. Bye.